G'day, how you going? Ianapolis here, your acrylic guru from Australia. Welcome to my video. Today I want to do a simple landscape for beginners, and I tried something in a water-based oil and I'm going to use that as my reference, and you'll probably notice something missing on me in this video. See if you can work it out or not. But this is going to be an acrylic painting, alright, and I'm using the standard canvas board size there, 42 by 30 centimeters and in inches as well. And I'll also get the colours going up the screen as well, that way you can pause this and write them down if you're going to paint along with this video as well. And while they're going up, just hit the thumbs up, give me the thumbs up and share this video if you like. And I'm just going to show you what I painted this morning in a oil paint, but they're water soluble, the brushes wash out in water. So I'm going to paint that today in acrylic. So I've gone and sketched on my low horizon line a row of trees and bushes and a forward mountain and a distant mountain and some foreground here, maybe an old dirt track or something, okay? So I want to start with my sky. So I'm going to do what I normally do and get the soft flowing body paint, the acrylic student paint, craft paint, mixed with the retarder. So I'm going to have a surface I can blend a beautiful sky on. And I'm only going to do the sky area, so where I've penciled in, I can see where I'm going to pencil, I can see where I'm going to paint the sky. So I'm just using a nice easy 2-inch synthetic brush to prepare the canvas for this. So I'm just painting the sky area. Now you can use whatever you want to trace in your layout. I've just used a graphite pencil. Some people don't like using it, but for some reason, it doesn't show through my paint and disturb my paints, where some people might get that problem. Not quite sure, but I've got my area for the sky. Now down here, I've got permanent alizarin, which is alizarin crimson, and some mid-tone grey. Now I want to mix this colour first. I've got just a very little bit there, just to create a bit of polluted horizon line in the distance. Very little bit of that. There's so many ways you can mix this colour that I'm getting here, but I choose to do it this way because I'm keeping it very simple for everybody there. And I've got my phthalo blue and the bottom horizon line here, okay? Now I haven't cleaned that brush, I used the white. I'm going to pick up the phthalo blue into my brush because we don't want a very dark blue sky, we want it nice and real looking. And the white on the board is going to help keep it lighter as well. So we'll start at the top. I'll just get it on there. I'm massaging it in, and I just want to come down to where I want that horizon colour. So about there. And I'm going to massage this back up. Okay. That's it, that's beautiful. Okay, now the next simple step to our sky, we've got this mixture we mixed here, and I want to start bringing this up to the blue like that. There we go. Massage it down a bit more. I'm going to pick up my other brush that I was using, that 2-inch synthetic one. I've washed it. I'll give it a bit of a wipe, make sure it's not too damp. And I want to pull this through and marry the two together now. It's just so it's not such a... I'll crisscross it to pull them in and out of each other, just so it's not a harsh transition. It's reasonably nice looking transition, okay? Now see there, you can leave that, but I'm just picking up some of the white down there. Let's see if we can lighten that. Just so as we can lighten that sky a bit. It's a bit dark for me. There we go. Okay, wasn't too hard. If you don't want this sort of glare in between the two, let's just grab a bit more of the soft white. There's nothing in it. I've just squirted some more out of the bottle onto the palette there. And let's lighten all this. Oh yes, that's working beautiful. And we'll come up into that blue. We've got a stronger pigment white there. Not too much, but it's just softening all that down and making it look a bit more, to me, realistic. And now we'll put some beautiful clouds in here. My recipe I like is for clouds is me 2 fan brushes, one size larger than another one, okay? And I've got my cloud white and the grey. I don't want to use this because it'll clash with the dirty horizon line, so I'm just using the normal grey out of the tube, so we'll get a bit of difference up there. So I just load my fan brush up, and we're going to have, so I want something sort of, I'm stamping it on, I want something sort of soft out here, just soft, pillowing across the sky. And grab a 2-inch blending brush, and we can blend that into that blue so it's soft, distant type of clouds. And then we'll put something a little bit more heavier in front, so we've got this distance in our sky. It wasn't too bad. Now I'm going to wash that brush. You can hear me washing it. Pick up some more of that white, and I want some of this probably a bit choppy out here as well, something I can, just like there. Grab the same blending brush. Be sure when you blend, some people know, some people do not, that when you're blending you have to keep wiping your brush, wiping the build up off it. And this is just softly sitting that down into that wet retarded paint there. Okay, beautiful. Now we can put some heavier white clouds on there just to make this sky look a bit more wowish. So I've cleaned that fan brush, and I want to pick up some more titanium white from the tube. Now this titanium white, see, it's got body and structure to it. That other stuff was a soft flowing student craft poster type paint. This one's the good stuff out of a tube. And I want to put something, maybe stamp it on, create the top of your cloud. This is in front of all that stuff we've just put on there, okay? There we go. And we'll grab our blending brush. Here it is. And I want to blend this. Easy does it. So you don't blend it into nothing. You want to see it. There we go. I'm seeing it. I can see it. See, wipe your brush as you go. See these hard top bits and these sort of arms sticking out? Try and distort them if you get that happening, just so it looks a bit more like nature intended. Oh, that's beautiful. Now it's blending with that blue, so you're getting a bit of a washed blue in it, so we're slowly getting some realness into our cloud here. And sometimes you can overdo it with the grey, sometimes you don't, but you just got to be aware of that. Tickle the tops a bit. And now we'll put the grey in there to determine the bottom of that cloud. So I'm picking up my smaller fan brush and getting this grey from the tube. And we want to grey some of this. I'm mainly going from the bottom side of the cloud. I'll stop there for a minute and blend that. So I've got my blending brush again, and I want to softly, I'm going to grab a smaller one, that's too big. I want to blend, leave the bottom of the cloud there from that grey and distort that into the white that we've got on there, the white and the washed blue type of thing. Now you can see how this grey is different from this one with the Linsen Crimson in the mix. So there we go. Practice these clouds if you're not too sure how to do them. I'm going to pick up some more and probably bulk this bit of a bottom bit here up. And we'll just sink that down as well. So now I put this cloud in front of all that soft stuff that I put on earlier. That's what was going on in my head. It pays, if you want to follow a tutorial, to watch the tutorial so you know what's happening, and you'll have the same image in your head when you're painting along. Alright, and then all we do to that is add the yumminess. So I've cleaned my fan brush, and we just want to stamp on, see, like this, we're stamping on some vibrant white. Look at that. Okay, just like that. Pick up your blending brush. And that yumminess, you're virtually just softening down, leaving the vibrancy of it there. And it's created a pretty much a third dimension to your cloud on a two-dimensional surface. I just call this yumminess. But do your clouds your way. I'm always doing my clouds the way I do them. If you have your own favourite way, do it your way. See how that's mixed the cloud up now? I've just stamped another one on over here, and I'll just quickly get this one in as well. Tickle the tops a little bit. Okay, and we can give that a bit of weather in it as well. Come along here. Can even come out there if you want. Let's see what that looks like beyond the white. Let's just see what that does. And then see, it's just a matter of kissing that into there. Wipe the build up off your brush as you go. You can see it's adding the weather and the shadows in there. And let's see what that does over the... Because sometimes clouds are just all grey as well, coming past the white. Bit of yumminess just in there a bit. That's beautiful. I just want to soften that just a little there. Now, like I said on the other cloud, this yumminess, you're leaving that brightness there, you're just softly sinking it back. Beautiful. And that white student paint with the retarder, because I've laced that all over my sky area before I use in the acrylics, it allowed me to get this going on with the acrylics. Now, I've blow dried my sky, and down here I've got French ultramarine blue and cadmium yellow light. I want to mix up a green, and I want a far away green and a bit more of a closer green. So there we go. Now let's just see, I'm not sure, I just want to see what a bit of white will do. Yeah, that's all right. I've just added a bit of white now just to put that in the atmosphere, because this is the faraway mountain I'm creating first. And I can still see it, I don't know if you can, that mountain went up there, and this one was pretty much over this way coming up. So I want the top, I don't want the top sharp, it can be a little bit blurred out because it's a lot further away. And I want to, let's just wet that a little bit so it's going to transfer better. Okay, and where's that line? That line's there somewhere. So I want to brush this up there because this is like a hill, and we can change the values of this as we go. So I'm just brushing it up onto the raw canvas area. Now this is all raw down here. Okay, all the way down to there. That's why I drew a rough sketch of the picture in there, so we know where to stop and start with each different section. All right. Now I've picked up a bit of blue into that messy brush, a bit more of that French ultramarine, and we're just going to put the distance between us on there. This will be the darker values of that distant mountain. Okay, and I want maybe here, so if you watch the video, you'll know what I'm meaning when you come to do your bit. I want this bottom scoop of it with this colour. And I'm just using a soft filbert brush for this. Use what you feel works for you, but this is just what I'm using. And this is just adding a bit more detail to your distance. And because this is a good quality paint, I can scrumble that together. It's not just one flat colour, it's got some values in there, okay? Now that colour, I've put a bit of white in it. Here, okay? This is something you can or you don't have to add. Now this mountain that comes out here, I want some of this just creating distance in that air at the bottom and merge it into there, just at this bottom area. Scrumble it in. If you're using a good quality paint, if you're working like as quick as I am here, you get time to scrumble the acrylics together. I give this a bit of a blow dry. I should have waited till I'd done this, but not to worry. And after this I'll blow dry it. So now that's scrumbled together. This lighter value that I've just put on now, it'll make sense when we sink the other hill / mountain in front of it, okay? Now here we go, we've got our French ultramarine. We'll put the rest of that into there and we'll get another value of green, a bit darker than what we had. You can see the two different values here. And this one's going to pretty much come around here. I want it to come in front of that pretty much there like that. How did I do it on mine? Pretty much there like that. Okay, so that's where we want to come with that. And then you can probably concentrate on the top first, because this is closer, so you can have a bit of air on the top and some canopies showing. Alright, we've got that blocked in. Now everything's dried, and now I've got some yellow oxide and my alizarin crimson. Let's get a pile here. Not too much of this crimson colour. I just want to get some earthy tones underneath the foreground where we're going to have like open clay, dirt and grass. So this will be the block-in colour virtually for that. And we'll keep roughly a straight line somewhere around here. And we just want to block all this in. Okay, back down here, I want to add a bit more alizarin crimson and make a darker value of that, just a bit darker. And maybe the corners, get the corner on a darker value. This will be mainly covered up, but at least we got the values there. Okay, from the front, it's darker at the front and gets lighter at the horizon line. And then I'll probably put a bit of white in that. Just with what's on the brush, I'll just pull a bit over here and mix it up over here. So that whatever's in the brush and the white's gonna make me lighter value. And in the distance here, we want to get lighter values of this into the undermix there, like that. Mainly on the horizon area there. Bring a little bit forward, probably here. And the paint's jammy and thick, so it's allowing this to scrumble in a way. And then we'll find our path, our road. We'll put our road in there. Okay, so we've got some white and our yellow oxide. It's all still down here, and we'll mix this up for our dirt road. Now I've given this a light dry, and I want to come, let's say, from here down there, and from nothing to a bit wider. So I want to stroke these across the painting, because if anything, that's the way I want the road to look. Now it's picking up some of that undercolour, which is fine. I don't want to wet this too much because it'll interact and start pulling the paint up. So I'm just getting roughly the shape of the road there. That'll do. It can go into oblivion out there. But from about here, I want it to be quite artistic in the way it looks. And then we're just going to add some darker values on the side. Alright, and we'll use the alizarin crimson for that and some black. So I'm picking up the alizarin crimson. I'm just going to quickly put some black on my palette down here. And I want to get a little bit of black mixed with alizarin crimson. And this edge, in my mind, I want darker. So I'm sort of tapping it on. Nothing's been dried yet, but this has kind of made a darker value of what's out there, and it's going to allow me to have a bit of a ditch or a shadow to the side of this track that I'm after. So I've just sort of stamped it on like that. I'll just wipe the brush, and then I'll swing that into the road as well, okay? Just like that. So it's a bit of a dirty, ditched road, and it's got light and dark values there. Everything's still waxy, and there we go. Now I want to get the black. And just along here where my grass is going to be, I want some darkness there, just stopping about there. And that can come down there, and just pull that down into there as well. This will all come into play when it's finished. If you want to put stones in the middle of this track or any idea you've got, you mix it up, do what you want with it, it's great. On mine, I wanted some darker values under here, so when the green goes on, they'll be there. And I'm going to have a bit of an old fence here, so we'll put some shadow for that as well. There we go. Get yourself a brush that's going to pick up and make a lot of, like my freckles. I like to create freckles, and dampen that black paint up a bit. And just this front hill, we'll go and put some of our turn your brush freckles in. This will create the depth in all of this. Try not to get even patterns, and you can have pockets that are darker than others if you like. If you squint your eyes and look at it, you can sort of see valleys and canopies happening. Okay, now I've got some forest green, cadmium yellow light. Let's mix our row of trees in front of that hill. So it's a different value to that green there. So in my head, they're coming, I'm going to do the tops of them first. I haven't dried that, maybe I might have to because it's starting to pull the black into this. So I'm going to dry that. And we're off again. So we're pretty much putting some trees here. I'm finding the top of them, and then I'll just come to the ground here, level it off so to speak, so they're blocked in. And I do deliberately want these coming over this side and back closer to us again. That's just how I want it. And we can level that up as well. Alright? Now that paint that I had, I've still got a bit of darker value there. I want to pull this into a flat brush and get a little bit of white just to mute it a bit, not too much. So I've dried that row of trees. Let's start from here. And I want to kiss it to the bottom there first, because we're going to have shadow under there. So don't. Now this side of the track, I want it, if anything, hanging over it. That's why I'm using this flat brush. I'll do this bit here just to show you. And it doesn't matter if you have some of that brownish earth colour showing through, because that's just dead patches in this opened area here. But it's important to get this sharp over that edge there, so it looks like we're looking down and over. And this can have other values in it as well to give it light and dark. See, I'll leave some of that dark there. How's that look in the monitor? That's fine. And then we're going to do that to the other side. So I'll start over here. I want it very pointy there. And I want to come off the road. Now we're going to have bits of clay, bits of the dark here, so that's okay. So at the horizon where this is meeting the trees, we will just grab a bit more white, mix it over here. Don't make it too stark. And mainly over here in the distance, under there, and blur it in, scrumble it in. See there? Want some of this over here as well. Get some on the brush. So we've got lighter values further away, and it's going to slowly come darker. And if you've done too much light in there, you can always pick up the darker value and scratch it back and even the light and dark areas you want in there, okay? I've just put the slightest black in that green. I want to just come off this corner dark, bring it back up into the painting. Don't do this pure black, just get the actual forest green and gingerly put a bit of black in there. And if you if your dark value like that might be too much blobbed over the top and you're not happy with it, we can just put the lighter values back. But I'm just mucking around here, getting it light and dark, squinting my eyes, looking at it so it's looking all right. Now grabbing the French ultramarine blue and the yellow, pull it into a pile there and bring the yellow. So we're going to get a green. This is just going to detail that forward mountain. Okay. Now I'm using a very small filbert brush and I want to use the edge, but I'm getting this a bit looser with just a little bit of water. And if you don't want to detail your trees like this, you want to do them any old way, that's up to you. But now we're just going to prance on the distant canopies here. And it's important to get these nice and sharp and try and create pockets of dark, high, low points. Alright, we've done that colour on there. I want to grab the burnt umber and the cad yellow light and mix up the dead wood colour. Alright, and then we'll, every now and then in between here, dry your painting first. I haven't dried it, but dry it first so this will stand out. And this adds the realism to your greens, because if you look at shrubs out there, if you notice there's browns within the greens. Nice and fine, keep this. Get some under here. Now if you notice, I've left a bit of dark within there to set this hill back from those forward trees. Okay, I'm just going to grab my bullshit stick, find my horizon line there. I'm just picking up the black on a controllable brush. I've got a small flat and I want to get the horizon line, let's say to there. I'll show you what I'm doing. And I want to scrumble the top in the bush there, so we've got depth within the bottom of our trees here. Okay, that can just shadow out here if we need it. And also what I'm doing, I don't want this shadow, if I can help it, following the shape. I want it kind of straight. And I'm now dividing these trees with shadows here and there, just from the bottom up. And see, I've made a different bush there. Okay. I've got some phthalo blue over there. I'm going to bring over here to this cadmium yellow. This will give a different green to the French ultramarine. And we're going to do the same thing over here. Find the top of your bush and start detailing it. We wanted to I'm looking for a different value than what we had up there, and leave some of the darks to create the shadow, and some of these can hover over the bottom. Okay, I've mixed this colour that I just had. I've mixed yellow. See, I did white. I didn't like the white. White muted it too much. And this is virtually the colour of the bush. All that colour we just put on previously was building up to this colour. So if anything, I want the light hitting, say, my left and graduating back to the right side. Now just to break it up, I've got a liner brush with grey mixed into it, and we want to sort of put the thinnest trunks coming up here. That's a bit too thick. Just creating some trunks holding this larger canopy behind here. Now this green that we did the front trees, I've just put the littlest of black in there just so as we can get this shadow here and tease it into our foreground here. Bits of shadow, just like that. It's not stark black and it's not the green, it's a mixture of the both. I want to look in my monitor and see how that's looking. Yeah, that's alright, it's doing what I want it to do. It's just getting rid of this line here. We're just sort of marrying it together there, a bit of shadows here and there. Okay, let me put an autograph on here. And make sure you look at my links in the description below. You can buy all my art, all my tutorial paintings are for sale. Go and join my art group page, Ianapolis Art Network. Message me on Facebook if you want to buy a painting. There's also a link for the paintings available for sale. Okay, let's put a frame on this and see how she looks. Yeah, it looks beautiful. That's not too shabby. You can keep going on with this. You can put a little house there. I was going to put a fence there, but I was running out of time. There's so many facets you can add to this type of painting, but it's a simple landscape for beginners and it'll take a bit of time. But once you know what to do, you can come up with this. So that's the one I did in oil, and then we were able to reproduce it in acrylic. Okay, I hope you like what you saw today. Tell your friends if you like everything, but if you don't, you tell everybody, all right? All the best, goodbye, good luck, and good on ya!